Well, here we are in the preparation room.
To indulge my...
A little
Stand
Holmes, you should aim for the mark in order to perform the most reliable test. Holmes, you... The harpoon...
This is the best possible result that I could get. Do you see, Watson? Throwing a harpoon and pinning a man to a wall requires either exceptional strength and training or diabolical luck.
If it was luck, then it was a chance in 1,000 that night.
Well, yes. Let us leave now.
All right. But before we go, I suppose I'll have to pay for all these carcasses you've happily mangled.
Very well, but please hurry.
Of course. Good gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect.
My analysis table. It is useful for my work. My analysis table. It is useful for my work.
Still at window.
A map of London and the surrounding area. It could be useful. This is where my archive. I can always consult with it if needed. archive. I can always consult with it if needed.
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Holmes?
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
Locked. Mr. Holmes?
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
The sea unicorn. Someone drank from this glass recently. My archive. I can always consult with it if needed. My analysis table. It is useful for my work. Brave Toby. The best nose... Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
Good gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect. Good gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect. Good gracious.
My archive. This is where I keep my post.
Good gracious.
This is where I keep my post. These footprints appear to be quite large. This window is locked from the inside. I do not see any attempt at a break-in. The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. It seems that the garden was well maintained.
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
These are the suspect's belongings. These abbreviations are pocket. Locked.
Mr. Holmes?
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong. What am I...
Locked.
Mr. Holmes? At your service, Mr. Holmes.
This is where I keep my post. My archive. I can all...
Good gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect.
My announce...
back to Wedminsley and let's look at those feet. Prints. Interesting. Oh, maybe I should look around. Just, oh, not there. Locked. Anywhere else is it just in case? These are the suspect's belongings. These abbreviations mean something. But what? I need to find something that can decode that. What indeed? What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong. Oh, so I can't talk to him anymore? Huh. Oops, sorry, my bad. Let's go back to Baker Street. Lawrence King, use a name for Dawson. Maybe we can find it in the house somewhere. Probably like a newspaper or something like that. Oh, get out of town.
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
These are the suspects from R. Dawson. Dawson. I've seen this name before. Perhaps my archive holds the answer. That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need. That is not... That... That is... That is not the one I... That is... That... That is not the one I need. Here it is. Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to...
Good gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect.
I have heard the story of Dawson and Nelligan, the West Country bankers.
Yes, Joshua Nelligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Nelligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to feel the shame that befell our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts if the creditors gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht, just a few days before an arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believe that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Nelligan. At last, we are making some progress. The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago. You would have been a child then, hardly in any position to receive such an item from a partner. So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
So, Mr. Nelligan...
The ring is mine.
So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
No, Mr. Nelligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
Oh, but how do you know?
The jacket you are wearing is made of an expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Nelligan. Furthermore, the garment is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else, most probably your father. With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
Interesting. Joshua Nelligan and Peter Carey were both at sea in Norway. There is definitely some connection between Peter Carey and Joshua Nelligan's disappearance.
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
Good gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect.
This is...
Oh, what am I meant to do now?
my archive. I can always consult...
I know we are.
$18.83. That's the one I need. This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn. Log notes for July. Nothing special. Log notes for August. Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR, a torn piece from a bond certificate. I have seen this abbreviation somewhere very recently. There are 3 ways of
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
Something new, Watson. I have the list of sailors who were aboard the Sea Unicorn. We shall soon learn what happened to Nelligan's father. I have only to find them. Let us hope they're still working at the harbour.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard...
I doubt it, Watson. And really, I would prefer that all of this remains quiet for now. But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
And who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang?
Yes. Believe me, you'll receive more useful assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives. Those children are everywhere. They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always a watch beneath our window. I have only to call him. This is where I keep my post. Watson, I need Wiggins. Is he anywhere nearby?
He's right across the street. You can give him a sign from the window.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, I need you to track down certain people for me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating. Here is the list of sailors.
Sailors? Easy. Just got to look where the rum and the red lights are.
Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll be there shortly.
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As always, what happened?
We have a new suspect, Liam Hurtley. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting. Pray tell.
Well, the constable that I left at Woodman's Lee noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes. He refuses to speak with us, but we'll make him talk.
Let us hope so.
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
Of course. It's in the evidence room, at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you, eh?
Breathtaking. These are the suspect's belongings. Liam Hurtley's old boots. They're a size 9.5. A pen? Nothing unusual. The stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals. Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I would like to ask you a few questions.
I've already told the police that I've nothing to say. And you're not even part of the police.
Precisely, and considering your situation, it might be wise to speak with someone who is, shall we say, rather more neutral. You are a suspect in a murder case.
I know. Inspector Lestrade told me. It's ridiculous.
Could you at least tell me who you are, and exactly what happened that you should be brought here?
My name is Liam Hurtley. That I can tell you. But you're not getting any more than that.
Well, we shall see. That's all for now.
I'm not saying another word.
Mr. Holmes?
These are the suspects. I wonder... No, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. Now we have the proof that Nelligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however. These boots match the footprints exactly. The case is solved. I am now ready to present the guilty party.
So tell me, who killed Black Peter?
It was John Nelligan, Inspector.
I thought as much, but I failed to see his motive.
Revenge, Inspector. Black Peter possessed the bond certificates that had belonged to Nelligan's father, and young Nelligan wished to retrieve them.
Well then, I'll arrest this Nelligan. I don't fancy his chances of getting out of prison after this.
I will accompany you, Inspector. John Nelligan, it was you who killed Black Peter. You attempted to convince him to return the bond certificates, and you threatened to call the police. Peter Carey was drunk. He drew his knife. In panic, you took the harpoon and made your lucky throw in self-defense. Put that in your report, Lestrade.
No, I didn't kill anyone. You have it all wrong.
You better thank Mr. Holmes for saving your neck, Nelligan.
The case is resolved, Inspector. I shall return to Baker Street.
Very well, Mr. Holmes. Goodbye for now.
The case is solved. I am now ready to present the guilty party.
So tell me, who killed Black Peter?
John Nelligan, it was you, Peter.
No.
You better thank Mr. Holmes for saving your neck, Nelligan.
The case...
Very well.
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks should be combined in a certain order to perform a chain. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, First condition, all 7. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue. Third condition. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent. First condition, all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the 3rd one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent. No, something isn't right. I need... I need to prepare a No, something isn't right. My analysis table. It is useful for my work.
A new suspect, but this one refuses to talk. This case is more interesting than I first imagined.
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what were you doing at Woodman's Lee?
Woodman's Lee? I've never been there.
The second pair of boots that you had with you when you were arrested perfectly match the footprints found near the cabin where Peter Carey was murdered.
Footprints? That's your proof? How many men have boots like mine? That doesn't make me a murderer.
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
Because you are the gardener at Woodman's Lee.
I'm not. How did you...
I observed your hands. They told me that you work with the earth. Small fragments of plants snagged to your trousers indicate that you were mowing very recently. But the most obvious clue presented itself in the bird embroidered on your handkerchief. A crested tit, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, you got me. Yes, I am a gardener, and I went there to get my tools.
So tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what did you hide?
Hide? What are you talking about? Hide? What are you talking about?
Never mind. So tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what did you hide?
Hide? What are you talking about?
No, God, no. Not worth it.
I did as you asked and hid them well. Should I continue?
My letter? But the ink? That's impossible.
A touch of chemistry, nothing special.
Well, you're a smart one. But it's nothing. If you want to know, I was referring to my tools. It was to do with my work, see?
I will check that, Mr. Hurtley. That's all for now. Hurtley's stories are false leads, but now I know one thing for certain. I must examine the site where the garden tools are kept at Woodman's Lee.
Mr. Holmes?
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, what exactly were you hoping to find inside Peter Carey's cabin?
I was trying to find some information about my father.
I assume you had another purpose, to retrieve the bond certificates. Am I correct?
Yes. I discovered some time ago that a few of the missing securities had reappeared on the London market. You can imagine my amazement. I spent months trying to find them, and at last I discovered that the original seller had been Captain Peter Carey. These papers, they belong to my family, but I could not find them there.
That's all for now. Well, I will see you soon, young man.
I'm not saying another word. I'm not saying another word.
What am I doing here? I've done nothing wrong.
Does the name Liam Hurtley mean anything to you?
No, I don't know anyone by that name.
Madam, we have information that the valuable stolen papers are hidden amongst the garden tools here at Woodman's Lee. We need to find them.
Oh my. Our tools are kept inside the shed that's right behind me. Here is the key to open it.
Thank you, madam.
Who could do such a thing? My poor husband.
Let's see what could be hidden here.
Would be one of these.
Let us see what is in this box. A bundle of letters in a woman's hand with the Carey family monogram. Hurtley and Mrs. Carey were in a relationship. That is interesting. Madam, I am aware of your affinity with Liam Hurtley.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Mrs. Carey, we found your letters.
My letters? I asked Liam to return them to me. I wanted to burn them.
Why did Mr. Hurtley put them inside the garden shed?
I don't know. I wanted them back, but I couldn't see him, not after what happened.
Well, here they are.
Oh, this is terrible. Terrible. Liam, how could he? After what he has done.
You believe that he killed your husband?
No, I do not know. I do not know. Leave me alone, please.
Thank you, madam. I wonder if Wiggins has managed to find any sailors.
Leave me alone, please. Leave me alone, please. Leave me alone, please.
Mr. Holmes, we found the sailors from that list you gave us.
Well done, Wiggins. Let me see. This man is a harpooner, and his initials are PC, the same initials that were found on the tobacco pouch. Wiggins, could you gather some information on one of the sailors that you found? His name is Patrick Cairns.
We found Patrick Cairns.
Good job, Wiggins. Where is he?
He lives in a small furnished dump of a room, but he's always at the Sea Witch pub, where he does arm wrestles for money and drinks.
Excellent. Here is your reward. 2 guineas.
Thank you, sir.
If I wish to speak to Cairns without alarming him, I had better dress as a sailor. Now I can approach Cairns and see if he recognizes the pouch. Hello there. Are you Cairns?
What do you want?
We've heard all about the gambling on arm wrestling here. You seem like the likely sort, and I'm up for it.
I start at 10 shillings.
Suits me.
That's the arm that killed 100 whales. Care to lose another 10 shillings?
I'm ready to try again.
Fine. You were lucky. I wasn't focused. Let's go again.
I've had enough. You're too strong.
Come back later when you can use your arms again.
I'm...
Well, good for you, I reckon. You're stronger than you look. Here's your 10 shillings.
I'd like to buy you a drink.
Good winner as well. That's good. Let's have a drink. You're a good type. Seems you've managed to settle down in life. You've got money, eh?
Not all that much.
Oh, well. At least you're not as poor as me.
Why do you say poor? You're not working?
I'm a harpooner. But you see, the whalers are rare. They don't pay much. So, as a result, find myself arm wrestling to pay for my drink.
A harpooner. Interesting. You've had a lot of adventures, I bet.
Of course. It's been a dozen years since I sailed. I've seen everything. Old Wallace, damn Black Peter, Great Roger. We sailed to the Cape of Good Hope.
Black Peter, you say? I've heard rumours about that one.
He was the worst of them all. He was a liar and violent too. Swinging those fists of his around. He was a tyrant and not much of a captain. At least, not as good as Great Roger.
I see. Yes. I was told terrible tales about Black Peter.
But you ain't heard the worst.
Tell me, and let's have another drink.
It was in 1883 that it happened. The August of that year. Peter Carey was captain of the Sea Unicorn, and I was a spare harpooner. We were coming out of the ice pack on our way home. One evening, we saw a little craft that had been blown north. There was only one man on her, and he wasn't a sailor. The crew must have thought that she'd foundered, and they made for the Norwegian coast in the dinghy. I guess they all drowned. We took the man on board.
And who was he?
Are you announcing yourself as the nonce?
I don't know.
I believe you're correct.
He and the
You
skipper
are the
enjoyed
nonce.
some long talks.
You are the nonce.
His baggage was just a tin box.
What?
That's strange
What?
enough.
The little, you
Aye.
little crackheads. You
Even
both did it,
stranger.
you little nonsense.
On the
I saw
second
the
night,
message.
he
I saw the
disappeared.
messages.
Nobody
At
knew what
5
happened to
a.m.
him. And of course, nobody could ask
You
Black
will
Peter
not.
about it.
Yes, I see the message. Getting Apex at Bubbles. 10 a.m.
You know what
5:15.
happened, don't you?
I do. I
You
saw
little
the
nonce.
skipper tie his heels and push him over the rail
When
in the middle of my watch on that dark
I didn't go
night.
to bed, I was
2
online,
days
but Reese
before we
were
sighted the
asleep or
Shetland
something.
lights.
Black Peter's a murderer.
Aye.
I got on at
But
20
you won't be
past 1,
surprised to
and I
hear
stayed
it.
on for
But
about
all
an hour
this must stay between us. All right?
until I got bored
Of
and I
course.
just ended up watching YouTube videos and falling asleep.
Back in a second. I'm off to the Gazi.
I'll be here with my drink.
Here it is.
Yo, shut yourself.
Have you got any tobacco?
Yo,
I've run out of mine.
Food.
Nah, I lost my pouch. I don't know where. Wait a minute. What's this?
Oh, is this your tobacco
Nah.
pouch?
Well, oh, it is.
Yo.
Well, I have to go now. I know a captain who's planning an expedition to Cape Cod. Captain Ahab's his name. He commanded the Pequod. He might need good harpooners. I'll tell him about you.
Maybe, if you like,
I'm done here. It's time to leave.
Care to lose another 10 shilling? Care to lose another 10 shillings?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I'm not. What am I doing here?
Imagine you giving yourself a tongue bath, Gwen. No.